I really need a successful episode. Yesterday was very frustrating. But it is what it is. All right. Now I'm going to do a search for Theology Central. Here, there's the notification. All right. All right. Got that done. Now I'm going to turn off the chat. And this should be an interesting, well, it'll probably be seen as somewhat controversial, but that's okay. What do I do that isn't considered controversial? I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, come on, right? But that's okay. That's okay. All right, hang on. Where is webcast? Here we go. Find webcast. Opening up. There we are. Okay. It's just funny. Seeing the title of this episode on Sermon Audio really cracks me up. Okay. It really does. This episode probably doesn't belong there, but we'll see. Hang on, if I can get the title of this episode. It is funny. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. But that's okay. I'm defying expectations, which fits perfectly with what we're going to be discussing. I don't think we're supposed to be talking about this in this platform, but you know what? We're going to do it. Irregardless of who may, with or without offense to friend or foe, I speak of the world exactly as it goes. It's been a motto of mine forever. And so I'm going to do my very, 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 very best here. All right. I'm going to try to capture all of the different elements to this. All right. We'll give it a few minutes here. We may not have that many people tune in for this episode, probably because they see the title. Right? People are seeing the title going, no, thank you. No. Skipping that. No, we're not going to, I don't want to listen to him talk about that. Well, that's okay. I'm going to talk about it anyway. All right. So we'll give it a couple of minutes here and we will get started. We will begin here in just a minute. I am hoping this goes better than the last live broadcast. Oh, yesterday was so frustrating. The first hour went far better than I thought. I felt pretty good about that. I think I did pretty well. And then the second was the one that I was the most sure of. The second hour was the one I was most ready for. And everything started feeling wrong. Maybe because I messed up one word and then I just allowed it to just get to me, right? Irrevocability, whatever the exact phrase was. Everything went wrong. And I'm still mad about how I messed that up yesterday. That's the thing with doing things live. There's no safety net. And so if you fall, you fall. So there is the safety net of deleting it, but you know what? You don't. You just live with it. All right. I don't know if anyone's going to tune in. Just going to give it a couple of seconds. And the reason I'm trying to give this a little longer, if you're tuning in, is because of the nature of the content. I don't really want people coming in the middle of it and they're going to miss everything. So I kind of want, people to be here for the beginning, but if they're not, they're not. So we'll give it here just a couple of seconds and then we will get started. Yeah, I don't think anybody else is going to tune in today. That's okay. I'm going to go to home here. think anybody else is going to tune in today. That's okay. That works great. Okay, I was checking it on the Church One app. Everything looks good. Just doing a couple of little extra checks here. All right, North Carolina showed up. See, I knew if I waited long enough, North Carolina would show up. You just have to be patient, right? You just have to wait for North Carolina to show up. Because if North Carolina doesn't show up, something is, I should just stop the live broadcast right then and there, right? If North Carolina does not show up on the map, something is wrong, okay? Because that's a pretty consistent thing to show up on the map. All right. All right, we'll give it just a couple of seconds here more. Again, because of what we're going to be talking about, you don't want people coming in the middle of this. You really don't. You don't. Just because the name of the person carries with it much controversy, especially within some Christian circles. So you don't want people coming in the middle. You kind of want them to hear exactly what you're trying to do. They still may get offended and still may get mad, but at least they go in knowing, instead of just showing up in the middle going, what is going on here? Because I know what I'm supposed to do here. I know what I'm supposed to do here, and I'm going to defy expectations here, right? I'm not going to go with what I'm supposed to do, which fits perfectly with what we're getting ready to talk about. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do this. I hope it works. Ladies and gentlemen, we go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective, this is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, August the 11th, 2025. It is currently 11:35 a.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio, located right here in Abilene, Texas. Now, it's time for us to once again, now I've got to try to make sure people understand what we're doing. It's time once again, let's say, to step out of the church house, to leave the church and to go into the street, to go into the bedrooms, to go into the clubs, to go into anywhere people may be spending time listening to music, because it is another episode in our ongoing series, Song of the Summer 2025, where we're leaving the church and we're putting our ear to the ground to hear what the culture is singing, what they are dancing to, what they are listening to, what is in their headphones at midnight in their bedroom. What is the world listening to? And when I say the world, I'm including all of us, because people inside the church are listening to these songs just as much as people outside of the church. That's been proven countless times. And I know how most Christians want me to respond. You should not be listening to any of these songs, are ungodly. I understand that that's the way I'm supposed to do things, but I don't follow what the crowd tells me to do. I don't follow the expectations placed upon me. I tend to just I'm going to do things the way I'm going to go down doing things my way. And so that's what we're going to do. We're trying to listen to the songs of the summer to understand them, to see how in many cases they're expressing ideas that are universal to all of us, even if we don't want to admit it, even if everyone in the church wants to pretend, no, I don't feel that way. We have these feelings, these longings, these needs, and these desires, and we should be able to understand where these longings, needs, and desires are coming from. So are you ready for another episode, if I can speak correctly? Are you ready for another episode in our Song of the Summer 2025 series? Because we're fast approaching the end of summer 2025, and it'll be finished, and we'll move. Well, the world, everything moves on. Well, summer will be in the rearview mirror. We'll be moving into fall, and then and the next thing you know, the year's over, and then we'll have 2026 in front of us. But before this summer is over, we're going to try to look at a number of songs. Now, looking at the charts themselves right now, there's not a lot happening. Alex Warren, Ordinary is still number one. That thing is never going to leave number one. It's never. I think there should be a chart update. There should be a chart update this week. I can't remember which day it drops. So we may see some movement in the next, couple of days. But as of right now, Monday, August the 11th, Alex Warren is still number one with Ordinary. It's just going to stay there. And if you look through the chart, one of the things that jumped out at me was a song that's been on the chart for 59 weeks. 59 weeks. It made it all the way to number 4. It never hit number 1, but it made it to number 4. I think it's currently sitting at 15 on the Billboard Hot 100. And that song is a song. Now, I'm just going to have to be very transparent here. This song impacts me greatly, right? From that opening piano to her voice, it almost sounds like it's breaking. You can just hear the emotion and the voice, the way the song builds into this powerful anthem, what the lyrics are about. I get like chills down my arm every time I hear the song. I've heard the song so many times and I still get these like chills listening to it because there's just something that resonates with me at a deep emotional level. And I know I'm not supposed to say that because this artist and this song would be very much condemned by most of Christianity as being pro LGBTQ plus and but I think they're missing the deeper theme. I'm not in any way denying the LGBTQ plus connection. I'm not in any way denying that in the song. That would be ridiculous. But the song is going beyond that. And its theme, I think we can all agree with or understand to some level. Now, what song am I referring to? I'm referring to Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan. Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan. I love this song. I adore this song. I feel this song. Oh man, there's so much about this song. And so I am going to try to walk us through this in a lot of different ways. First, my introduction is going to sound like I've put two introductions together, which in a sense I did, because I feel there's two kind of different ways to approach this song. I think there's a couple of ways to approach it. And then I'm going to look at the lyrics, and then I'm just going to have there's going to be kind of a lot of repetitive discussion at the end about, I'm kind of conflicted about the song in some ways, especially from a theological perspective. So are you ready to kind of leave the church for a little bit? Because, the church, this would be like, get thee behind me, Satan. Let's go out and listen to and talk about Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan. A song that, full transparency, I adore. I love it. I feel it every time I listen to it. In fact, just before I went live on the air, I hit play and I was like, oh man, that piano and her voice, and it builds and it builds. And then, man, it's so amazing. All right. So I want to begin this way. I believe, I'm going to go with this. Maybe it's more than a belief, but I'll classify it as my own personal belief. I believe there's a point in almost every single life where the walls feel to be closing in on you. You just feel trapped. The walls are just getting tighter and tighter. The script has become too rigid. You're handed a script and this is where you're confined to. The walls are closing in. Don't even try to leave. We lock the door, and here's the script. You stick to the script. Do not go off script. Color within the lines. The air becomes too thin to breathe. And it could be a lot of things. Maybe it's the town you grew up in. Maybe it's the expectations of family, or expectations of faith, or expectations of community. Maybe it's the version of you that everyone assumes is the only one that exists. But somewhere deep inside of you and deep inside of, I believe, many people, there's a voice that whispers, or maybe sometimes it shouts, you've got to get out. You've got to find where you can finally be you. You got to get away from all of this. You got to break out of this room that's closing in. Throw the script away. Get out. Go find where you can be who you are. And I think that longing, that need, that desire can take 1,000 shapes. Packing up for a bigger city, stepping onto a stage, coming out to the world, or simply breaking a routine that slowly has become suffocating. It's like it's drowning you. I think there's a hunger for space, for expression, for the right to dance without apology. Now, some of you may not dance, and I know, dancing is of the devil. I understand, okay? I grew up in the time of Footloose, okay? I grew up in West Texas where there were literally towns where you could not dance, okay? I witnessed that insanity, okay? So I'm using dancing here figuratively, all right? You just want to break free, where, in a sense, figuratively, you can dance without apology. You can be who you really are. Instead of all the pretending and all of the confinement and all the coloring within the lines and the stupid script that they gave you. And I think right there, that feeling is where Chappell Roan and her song Pink Pony Club comes in. On the surface, it just may be a glitter-soaked tale of West Hollywood nightlife. But underneath it, I think it's the universal story of breaking free, of leaving behind the old rules for a place that feels like home, even if it's loud, even if it's messy. And it's nothing like what you were supposed to choose. So this week, today, what we're going to do is we're going to step into the neon light with Chappell Roan. We're going to follow her journey from Tennessee to the Pink Pony Club. And we're going to explore why so many of us, at least for me, we hear our own heartbeat in the story. Now, I know for some you're going to be like, oh, no, this is pro LGBTQ plus, and oh, my goodness. You're missing the story here. And at least for me, when I hear that piano, that opening piano, I can feel it. And as soon as her voice comes in, I'm like, oh, girl, I know what you're feeling. I got you. And I could express it a million different ways. Your story is different than my story, but our stories are much more similar than anyone would want to admit. So that's one idea. When I hear the song, it's about this idea of breaking free. Or we could look at it maybe something like this. Sometimes the journey to becoming who you really are means leaving behind the people and places that raised you. Sometimes it means stepping out of the world that shaped you and stepping into a world that feels like home, even if it looks nothing like the one you came from. And Chappell Roan's Pink Pony Club, we hear that story in vivid color. A small town girl from Tennessee, dreaming of escape, chasing visions of Los Angeles, and finding herself in the bright lights and pulsing music of West Hollywood. The stage becomes her sanctuary, the dance floor her home, and the club her new congregation. But with every beat, there's still the echo of her mother's voice, half grief, half disbelief, asking, God, what have you done? And one way, this song is about that need for freedom, but it's a song about liberation and longing. It is a song about maybe rebellion. I don't think we can deny that. It's about that tension between self-expression and the expectations of family, and the complicated truth that freedom doesn't erase where you come from, it just redefines it. So I'm going to try to break down the emotion and the cultural power of Pink Pony Club. And I'm going to try to explore why so many people, I think, see their own reflection in this glitter-soaked song of defiance. So there's a couple of ways of looking at it. And I had two different ways I wanted to go. So I just kind of put them together so you get all the feelings there. And what I'm worried is, in all of that introduction, I don't know, some of you, I think it's how it always works, right? Either some of you are going to feel it and get it, or some of you are not, because everyone is built radically different, emotionally, psychologically. So for me, this sense of, man, the walls are closing in, I feel trapped, I want to just break free. I mean, I talk about it a lot sometimes here, even on this podcast, that one day I'm just going to be gone. One day, the microphone goes silent. All the messages get deleted, and you're going to see, where has he gone? Well, find me in the Pink Pony Club. Okay, I'm going to escape. But in other ways, I've kind of tried to make this podcast my own version of the Pink Pony Club, where I can be real and be myself. In fact, I've always tried to make everywhere my own version of the Pink Pony Club, and it doesn't always work. But you're ready to break some of you have no idea what I'm talking about because you don't know the song. I know I'm kind of speaking of it as if you have to know the song, because in some ways it's been on the charts for 59 weeks. I mean, is this song, could you escape Pink Pony Club? If you escaped Pink Pony Club, I need to know where you live, because you either don't have internet, you live in a cave. Maybe you live with the Taliban. I don't know what's happened. Okay, but you can't escape it. But for some of you, I know I'm saying you can't escape it, but the reality is many of you probably have never even heard the song. So I probably need to break down the lyrics so you'll kind of get what I'm trying to express. But just so, again, full transparency, I have an emotional connection to this song. There's just no, I could just hit play right now on the opening piano, and as soon as she comes in, I can't even describe the chills that goes through my body. And I've heard the song a million times. So let's begin with the lyrics of Pink Pony Club at Chappell Roan. Verse 1. I know you wanted me to stay, but I can't ignore the crazy visions of me in LA. So the song is, of course, opening basically in a conversation. It's intimate. It's almost confessional. Someone back home wants Chappell, wants the character in the song. This is all very much built on her life. I don't think it was Tennessee she leaves. It was Missouri, if I remember correctly. But someone back home wanted her to stay, wanted her to remain. But she's gripped by visions of another life. The crazy visions instantly set up the tension between stability and adventure, between expectation and self-determined destiny. Hey, I know you want me to stay right here. I know the walls are closing in and you're not supposed to leave. Here's your script. Here's the coloring book. Color within the line. Stay right here. But she can't ignore these crazy visions of her not being in Tennessee, not being in Missouri, not being in Kansas anymore, Toto, but being in LA. She goes on to sing this. And I heard that there's a special place where boys and girls can all be queens every single day. Now that line will spark massive controversy. Oh, it's woke, it's liberal. And I understand all of the chaos that will erupt from the song because people just want to look at that specific line. But it's saying the focus here is not so that boys and girls can be queens. For some, that will resonate with them depending on what they're struggling with. But it's about, I heard that there's a special place. There's this place where people can be who they are. It's a special place. It's a metaphor, and it's a metaphor, and it's a location like West Hollywood. Now, this is an area of a haven, I guess, of queer acceptance, a haven of where you can be flamboyant, you can have self-expression, you can have the nightlife. Now, the use of queens, we have to be honest here, plants this firmly into LGBTQ plus celebration. There's no way to get around that. It's a space where identities are embraced rather than hidden. So here's this place, a special place where you can go in and be who you are. You can be free. Now, I know what you're saying. No. We can't express this. I understand the Christian perspective. You have to let me work through this, okay? You got to let me work through that. If you expect me to just do what most Christians would do, see, look at this line, this is ungodly, and just condemn it and just yell and scream and rant and rave and burn some records, well, you're listening to the wrong podcast, okay? That's so ridiculous the way Christians handle things. Let me work through this. I'm going to deal with all of the conflict that even I myself may struggle with. But if you reduce this to just LGBTQ plus, you're missing why this song has been on the chart for 59 weeks. Because it resonates with people in all walks of life. Everyone wants that special place where they can just be who they are. They can be free. They can finally get what they've been longing for. She goes on to sing, I'm having wicked dreams of leaving Tennessee. Here's Santa Monica, I swear it's calling me. I'm having wicked dreams of leaving Tennessee. Here's Santa Monica, I swear it's calling me. Now, the phrase wicked dreams hints obviously at some type of moral judgment from her old world. A dream that might be labeled rebellious or sinful, but thrilling to her. I'm having these wicked dreams. Yeah, I know they're supposed to be wicked. I know they're supposed to be wrong, but she's acknowledging I have these dreams. I have this desire. Leaving Tennessee. Tennessee is now going to be kind of connected to the moral judgment. That's the place of moral judgment. I'm hearing Santa Monica. I swear it's calling me. The call of Santa Monica is both literally, I think, a literal geography, but I think it's symbolic of just liberation. Santa Monica, wherever you want to name the place, the place is irrelevant. It's a place of liberation. It's a place of freedom. You can burn the stinking script. You can throw away the template. You can take your coloring book and color wherever you want to color and whatever color you want to color in. And I know, that's pious, religious sounding Christians. I know. We don't have wicked dreams. All of our dreams are for the glory of God. All of our dreams are so perfect and righteous. We probably have a lot of desires that nobody wants to ever admit. She continues to sing. Won't make my mama proud. It's going to cause a scene. She sees her baby girl. I know she's going to scream. I mean, that's a powerful line, right? She knows that she's facing this moral dilemma. She either stays and follows the rules and conforms, or she follows these wicked dreams, this need, this desire to go to this special place. And it's not going to make her mama proud. It's going to cause a scene. Because she's going to see her baby girl and she's going to scream. So you can hear the conflict within Chappell herself. Now here's the cost. her freedom is going to scandalize her family. There's a generational and moral divide. What she sees as freedom and joy, her mother may see as betrayal or rejection or abandonment. What is Chappell going to do? Oh, man, there's this special place. It's calling my name. I got these wicked dreams. Man, it's not going to make my mama proud. Man, it's going to cause a scene. Oh, it's going to cause a scene. Oh, my mama's going to see me and she's going to scream. This leads into kind of the pre-chorus and kind of the hook. God, what have I done? You're a pink pony girl, and you dance at the club. This is kind of a fictionalized reaction from her mother, or perhaps it's from her own inner voice echoing her old values. God, what have you done? Is that what people are saying to her? Or is she saying a little bit of it to herself? God, what have I done? You're a pink pony girl and you dance at the club. Now, if it's coming from her mom or coming from this fictionalized reaction to the people in Tennessee, God, what have you done? But if she's saying it to herself, she could be saying it almost like in a kind of thrilling way. Oh, look what I've done. Look where I am. I'm now a pink pony girl dancing at the club. I've made it out of Tennessee. I've made it to the special place. So there's a lot of different ways you can interpret that. Oh my goodness, what have you done? Right? And imploring God, because there is moral judgment here. There is moral dilemma here, right? So I don't think it's her at conflict with herself. If it's her saying it, I think it's more like, look what I've done. Can you believe it? And she's still invoking God as well. So you're either invoking God as a moral judgment or you're invoking God as, look what I've done. Look, can you believe it? The pink pony girl becomes her alter ego now. Bold, glittery, and defiant. And in a sense, I don't even like to say it's her alter ego. I'm gonna change that. I probably shouldn't have put alter ego because I think what happened is now she becomes who she's always been. She's always been the pink pony girl, but in Tennessee, she couldn't be the pink pony girl. But now she's there and oh, look what I've done. Look what's happened. Now she is the pink pony girl dancing in the club. I don't think it's her alter ego. I think it's now the true self is being seen. And that doesn't make it, you can make all the moral judgment about who she is, but the point is she's being who she is. She goes on to say, oh, mama, I'm just having fun. On the stage in my hills, it's where I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club. Now she references back to her mom. Hey mom, I'm just having fun. I'm on the stage in my hills. It's where I belong, down at the Pink Pony Club. She's the Pink Pony girl and the Pink Pony Club because it's only in the Pink Pony Club that she can be the Pink Pony girl because she could not be that because everyone else gave her 9,000 expectations and she had to follow them. So I think this is the full embrace, not of a new identity, right? I think this is the full embrace of her real identity. The hills and the stage signal some type of performance, self-confidence. Do we dare say some form of sexual autonomy? I don't have to follow your rules. The Pink Pony Club is both a literal venue, loosely inspired by LA nightlife, and a stand-in for any place where someone finally feels at home in their own skin. Pink Pony Club now just becomes kind of an allegory or a figurative place. You can talk about a literal place, but it can be anywhere where you finally go, I'm free. This is me. The chorus, she sings, I'm going to keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. I'm going to keep on dancing down in West Hollywood. This refrain is the defiant heartbeat of the song. She's not dabbling. She's committed. I'm going to keep on dancing. It's an anthem of persistence and joy and chosen identity, regardless of disapproval. Look, you stay out there and say whatever you want. I'm going to keep on dancing. I don't care what anybody says. I finally get to be what I need to be and want to be and experience what I've longed for. Now you can say, oh, this is rebellion. This is defiance. This is ungodly. I understand that. And we'll deal with that conflict. I'm not forgetting that. Don't think for a second I'm just downplaying that part. But she's finally made it. She's not in Tennessee anymore. She finally is there, and I'm going to keep dancing. No, I'm never going to stop. Now, in verse 2, she kind of really goes in here, right? She says, I'm up and jaws are on the floor. Lovers in the bathroom and a line outside the door. Now, this is vivid imagery. Now, remember, we're talking the song of the summer. We're not afraid of what they sing about, right? We're just confronting it head on. So whether you like it or not, I've told you from the very beginning what this series is about, right? So now she's pulling into the club scene. If you've ever been into the club scene of any kind, then you can relate to these lyrics, okay? And already from just this, I'll just, before I continue with verse 2, the club scene, I am so intimately familiar with the club scene, okay? Very. I'll never forget. So my whole life, music was my sanctuary. Music was my air. Music was my friend. Music was my lover. Music was my confidant. Music was my escape. Music was everything to me. And with music came dancing. Everyone else could be doing a million other things. In my room with music, dancing. And with my dancing. That was my life, right? That's my life, all right? If music is on, I tend to be moving, all right? I had to go somewhere 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't remember when it was, the exact date. And I had to go get fitted for a tux because I have a wedding I'm going to in Salem. And so I was getting fitted and they had music playing. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to get fitted for the tux, and I'm just like, yeah. And I just start moving. And I just start dancing right there. And with the people trying to fit, they're looking at me, and I'm like, and they're like, oh, wow. Because that's just, if music is on. I remember being in the United States military, right? And we were marching past this area. This is basic training, Lackland, and there's like a club there, right, that we got to go to at different times, and I had some fun times dancing in that club. But we were marching by, and the music was playing, and I'm supposed to be marching, and the next thing you know, I'm just moving not to the cadence of the march, but to the music. And I was, all the people in my troop had already seen, my squadron had already seen me dance at the club. And they were like, uh-oh, he's about to start. And I was about ready to just break out into dance right there. Music makes me move. I love it. The point is, I'll never forget the first time I walked into a dance club. Not a teen club, because in teen clubs, I always got in fights. It was nightmare because I would get there, go to the floor, all the girls would look at me, and so the teenage boys, inevitably, I was a threat, and it was a fight. It was horrible, and sometimes those fights turned into absolute craziness, right? Knives and, oh man, just insanity. So the teen club, I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't even do that anymore. In fact, I was banned from the school dance because I was told, I came to the school dance when I was in high school and they were like, I'm sorry, you can't come in because you'll cause a scene. Because why? Because I would start dancing, I would get the attention of all the girls, and then inevitably the guys seeing me as a threat. And it was a nightmare. I hated it. It even happened at a Christian my daughter can confirm a lot of these stories. We're at a Christian concert, contemporary Christian music concert, right? The music is blaring and I got room and I start dancing and I draw a crowd, and guess what happens? It's guys are like, and they start shoving me and having a problem because, I'm sorry, your girlfriend looking at me? I'm sorry, your wife looking at me? Well, it's not my stinking problem, okay? So I've always had this issue, But when I went into the adult club, I felt like, okay, I looked. The first night, I didn't even dance. I just watched, tried to understand the club life, right? And I kind of saw what was happening. On the outside, I kind of just say that's where the game is being played, right? The girls are all looking hot. The guys are all trying to make their play to get the girl. And it's about drinking and trying to hook up. And I'm like, okay, I don't like the outside part. When I get past all that, there's the dance floor. And there was my sanctuary. And I didn't care. And I always had this approach. When I got to the club, I didn't care about dancing with someone. So I didn't need someone to dance with. I just went to the floor and started dancing. I didn't care if there was anyone on the floor. I didn't care if there was two people on the floor. I was going to dance, and I didn't care if the whole world was looking at me. I was going to be the center of the attention because it was about the music. And I had rules. I did not ask anyone to dance. And no, I'm not asking girls to dance. They want to dance, they could come to me. I'm not going to them because I'm here to dance. If you think you're more important than the music, you got another thing coming. You either join me or you just keep walking. I don't care. So, and my rule was, it didn't matter the girl. If they asked me to dance, I would say yes. And I would have fun. Now, if they weren't very fun in the dancing, right? Like, I mean, then I'd be like, I'd shake their hand and say, thank you so very much. I'm going back to dancing with myself. Now, if they were really dramatic and fun and singing along, then I would dance with them as long as they wanted to dance. And I didn't care. There was a woman at the club. Her name was, her nickname was Pebbles. I don't know what her real name was. She wasn't, I was young, so I don't know. To me, she was old. I don't know how old she was, maybe 50s. I don't know. She was an older woman. She would come and dance with me, and she would have the time of her life. We would sing and dance together. And a lot of the younger women would have, why are you dancing with her? She was an older woman. We'll just say it, overweight. And I didn't care because I'm like, she's fun. She gets it. It's about the music. And we had I danced with her many times. So I got to know the club scene, right? So inside that circle, I did not drink. So inside that circle, I was on the floor the whole time, and I would always have a table kind of close to there, and I only would have water. The bartenders knew I only wanted water. And so any of the girls who danced with me, they knew that, okay, I don't drink. I'm not trying to get you to drink. And if you want to drink, I'm just going to give you water, okay? Because I'm not here to get you drunk because that's a weak man's game, right? If I got to give a girl alcohol for her having anything to do with me, that's not much of being a man. That's pretty pathetic, right? So, no. So they knew they could dance with me, and I was there to dance. And they knew that there wasn't any alcohol, so they felt free. So I kind of became known and there. So in a roundabout way, I kind of created this little bubble so that what was happening on the outside, I did not see. But there was times I would go out on the outside for other, to go to the bathroom or whatever, and then you would see some of what she's talking about, right? Lovers in the bathroom, yeah, meaning actual, sexual activity happening in the bathroom, things like that going on. Yeah, that I saw the dark side of it, right? I would see some of that. For me, it was about the lights and the music, it wasn't about all of this other stuff. All right. And by no means, let me make it very, 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 very clear. I am not saying I was a saint. Don't even misinterpret. Okay. My dancing was vile. It would be explicit. I was Yeah, nothing about anything about me was godly. Don't. Only thing is, I didn't drink, and the only reason I didn't drink is because I just hated alcohol and thought the thought of alcoholism. And I wanted to be able to enjoy the club, not so drunk that I'm stumbling over myself and can't remember it. And my other thing was, if a girl was going to like me, if I was going to end up with a girl, it wasn't going to be because of alcohol. That just felt like weak. That felt like, oh, I can't. No, so it wasn't because I was moral. It wasn't because I was godly. Let me make it very clear. I was the opposite of. It's just that part of the world I was not attracted to me. What was attracted to me was the floor, the music, the dancing, having someone there to look at you in the eye and sing along with you and follow. If I take 3 steps to the right and 2, they could just pick it up and follow. Those who could just kind of follow me. Oh man, we had the time of our lives. Those who just barely moved, just kind of barely moved. I was like, okay, thank you. This is about freedom. It's about throwing away all of this. It's about being alive in the Pink Pony Club. So the club scene, that was my life. Like I've stated it so many times. Outside of the club, I'm no one, I'm nothing, I'm a nobody. Nobody would give me the time of day. Girls probably would not even look at me. Inside the club, I was the king of the stinking world. Right? Now those years are long gone. And sometimes I look with fondness to them. I'm just going to be, sometimes on a Friday night or a Saturday night, I think about, man, being in that club, that feeling of, because I could be free, I could be me. So this is why I feel this so much. So when she sings this vivid imagery that pulls you into the club scene, it's sensual. There's no question about it. There's a lot of sensuality going on in a club. It's chaotic. Oh, it's insane. People everywhere, loud. You can't hear anyone talk. It's unapologetic. Nobody in the club is worried about what anybody thinks. Well, to some degree, I take that back. Some people are only worried about what everyone thinks because they're all trying to play a game. And then some will get on the dance floor and they barely move because they don't want to draw too much attention to themselves. And oh, give me a break. And I won't get on the floor if there's no one else on the floor. And for me, I would just go right to the floor and I dance by myself some cases 70, 80% of the night. And if someone asked me to dance, sometimes I didn't catch on. I'm here to dance. So do you want to dance or what do you want? Okay. So, when she sings about the club culture, I get it. I get it completely. All right. She goes on, black lights and mirror disco ball. Every night's another reason why I left it all. Black lights and mirror disco ball. Every night's another reason why I left it all. And sometimes I felt like every time I walked into the club, this is the reason I would leave everything for right here. For 4 hours in this club, life happens here. The black lights and disco ball are more than a decor. They're symbols of transformation. Every night she spends here reinforces that leaving her old life was the right decision for her. I thank my wicked dreams. A year from Tennessee. Oh, Santa Monica, you've been too good to me. She's now looking back. She's grateful for the dreams she once feared might be wrong. A year away has cemented her love for her new life. I thank my wicked dreams. It was those wicked dreams that now she's been away from Tennessee for a year. She's thankful for it. She's thankful that that's the thing that moved her, that got her to leave it all. It won't make my mama proud. It's going to cause a scene. She sees her baby girl. I know she's going to scream. Now, the conflict resurfaces. She has freedom, but it hasn't erased the sting of her mother's likely reaction. Then the bridge. Don't think I left you all behind. I still love you. In Tennessee, you're always on my mind. So this isn't pure rejection on her part. She still carries love for her roots, even if she can't live by their rules. This keeps the song very human. There's a lingering ache, not just rebellion. It could be just seen as rebellion, but that line is like, hey guys, Don't think I've left you all behind. I still love you all. You're always on my mind. I haven't forgotten you, but this is me. This is where I need to be. And Mama, every Saturday, I can hear your southern drawl 1,000 miles away saying, see, even in the glitter of West Hollywood, even in the booming bass of the club, her mother's voice is in her head. This is kind of an internalized dialogue between the past and present is ongoing. The chorus returns, but now with more layers. She's dancing, but she's also narrating the tension between joy and guilt. She's got away. She's got away. The outro plays on dual meanings. The girl has a way that captivates, but also got away, escaped from her old life. The repetition drives home that this isn't just about one night in a club. It's about a permanent liberation and the bittersweet cost that comes with it. She's got away. She got away. You see how it's a play on words. Very clever. Very, very, very clever. And that is Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan. And I kind of mixed in a little bit of my story there with it. And there is a part where the club did represent my own freedom. Now, I was still in the same location, right? And probably the next time I felt this a little bit was when I took the ticket that the United States military gave me, handed it to the person at the bus station, and the bus rolled out of Abilene, Texas, and Abilene, Texas was in the rearview mirror, and I was headed to a new life, free from all of this, because that was I needed to escape all of this. Now, we may not all be dreaming of leaving Tennessee for West Hollywood. There's a good chance that many of you will never find liberation under a disco ball or in hills. But everyone knows what it's like to feel trapped by expectations. It might be the weight of family tradition. It might be the pressure of a small town's watchful eye. It might be the silent rule of religion that just, you can't escape it. It might even be the voice in your own head telling you to play it safe, be good, do what everyone tells you to do. Pink Pony Club takes that deeply personal, and let's be honest, this is about, in many cases, coming out in a LGBTQ kind of way, coming of age story, and it frames it with feelings that are humanly universal. And that's what people need to see. It's not just, it's because the feeling is universal. I can relate to the song. I'm the 1000% opposite of LGBTQ. All right. I'm none of those things. Okay. I'm very, very, very much heterosexual and straight. All right. So, but I can still, the feelings still hit me because I can still relate to the feelings here. This idea of longing, restlessness, the hunger to step outside the boundaries someone else draws for us. That's what my problem with church is. This is the way church is supposed to be done. You're supposed to sound like this. You're supposed to talk this way. You're supposed to use these words. And I'm always like, no. I can't I be a Christian and be me? Now, I know there's a fine line there. And we'll talk about that hopefully here in a second. I know I'm going to run out of time. This is taking much longer than I thought. But there's a lot to this song. In Chappell Roan's case, the leap is dramatic from Tennessee's conservative culture to the open embrace of West Hollywood nightlife. But the emotional arc, feeling called to something bigger, fearing the fallout, and deciding to go anyway, is one that transcends geography, transcends sexuality, transcends career. So that's the thing. The feeling here transcends all of it. The lyrics live in the tension between kind of this ecstatic self-discovery and lingering guilt. She dances in the joy of her new identity, But her mother's imagined cry, "God, what have you done?" still echoes in her mind. That tension is what makes the song more than just a party track. It's not simply about the fun she's having. It's about the courage it takes to keep having it when someone you love might not approve. And here's the thing, whether it's leaving a job, ending a relationship, changing your beliefs, or moving across the country, most of us know that a mix of exhilaration and grief. The cost of freedom is often that someone you care about will see it as a betrayal. Pink Pony Club lets the listener live. I think it lets us live within the complexity there. It doesn't resolve the tension. It doesn't try to make peace between the old life and the new. It simply says, I'm going to keep dancing. And I think that's why it resonates. It's not just with those who share her specific story, but with anyone who's ever had to fight for the right to fully be themselves, to fully have what they need, want, and are. So what are some of the main themes and ideas here? I think we've kind of already covered them. I've got a number of them: the pull of freedom versus the weight of expectation, identity and self-expression, defiance and rebellion, the cost of liberation, and the power of place. And I could break all of these down. I put them in 5 different paragraphs, and I could read them really, really, really fast, but we're almost at 50 minutes, so I'm going to just skip that entire section in my notes. I put it all together for no reason. Let's go down to... I'm going to even skip segment 4. I broke these down into segments. I'm going to skip that as well. And I'm going to go down because I think I can capture all of this by framing this in kind of a conflict that one may have with the song, or I can experience with the song. See, on one side, I am very much acknowledging something that Pink Pony Club captures perfectly. The intoxicating idea of space where no one polices my identity, where I'm free from the suffocating grip of other people's expectations. It's not just about dancing, it's about being. And that song makes the world feel alive. It makes it feel warm. It makes it feel unashamed in a way that's hard not for me to long for to some level. So in some way, I can resonate with this deeply. But on the other side, I recognize that the church, by nature of its message, will never be a no boundaries Pink Pony Club, because there are moral claims. There's a call to repentance, a call to godliness. The church can't, and it shouldn't, pretend it's the Pink Pony Club where anything goes, because then it would cease to preach the gospel at all. And I understand that. But here is something I thought about when I was putting this all together. Don't churches already function like the Pink Pony Club, and not in the way you think? I don't think churches function like the Pink Pony Club because it's a free-for-all and everyone does what they want. I think it functions like the Pink Pony Club, but just with a costume change. The church has its own unspoken dress code, modesty standards, church clothes, smiling faces. They do have their own choreography, the acceptable church language, the expected testimony style, the right way to raise your hands and not raise them. And the result is still conformity, just to a different culture. The dancing isn't to a loud disco beat, but it's to a carefully curated soundtrack of Christian catchphrases and respectable appearances. I think the church is its own Pink Pony Club, but it's kind of a reverse Pink Pony Club. The Pink Pony Club, you go to be free. The church, you go claiming freedom, but you're just dressing up. In the Pink Pony Club, you're dressing up. And the church, you're dressing up. You're dancing to different beats. I think there's a sense where they are somewhat similar, but in opposite ways. See, in the Pink Pony Club, I think the actual Pink Pony Club and its church equivalent, that people may never actually deal with what's really deep inside, if I can state it that way. See, at the club, you may go to be free. You may go to express all of that, but maybe in some ways you're actually hiding behind the glitter and you're hiding behind the idea of freedom and you're never confronting your own brokenness. You're there dancing, but there's something not quite right. Something is still wrong inside. You're still broken. And a lot of times you get 3 hours in the club. You get 3 hours in the club, but the music comes to an end. And you're still left with now you. Now, what do you find then? In the church, you can hide behind righteousness and conformity without ever confronting your own brokenness. In other words, both places can offer you a place to escape the reality of who you are. Like, you can use the Pink Pony Club to actually hide from who you are by dressing up and putting forth this facade, but you're really ignoring the deeper things. The church, you can put on a facade instead of glitter, glam, hills, music. It's righteousness and it's godliness. But in many cases, you're still just pretending to be something you're not. I think and the reality is, in some cases, the self can remain just as masked in both locations. And I think maybe that's the irony, right? The church should be the one place where you don't have to hide, where you can drop the act, you can stop performing, you can bring your real sinful self into the light of God's grace. Not to celebrate sin, but to finally stop pretending you're not a sinner. Instead, the church often rewards those who can most convincingly act the part. And that's the church always rewards those who can most convincingly play the part. Oh, for actress of the year, it's Julie. Julie, step right on up. You convinced everyone that you're godly and you have no bad desires. Oh, and you covered it up very well with those great performances of being judgmental and condemning. Julie, the actress of the year. Oh, here's Bob the pastor. Oh, he gets it. Outstanding performance. He sounds so godly. He's so condemning. Never letting anyone realize how jacked up he really is. Maybe that's why sometimes I'm conflicted by this song. It's a picture of a place where I've always imagined of being fully known and fully embraced. And yet my conflict comes from knowing that the church, in some ways, I thought would be that kind of place, but only with something better at the center than just self-expression. It would be better than just being scandalous. I would finally be free and experience the love of God. Maybe Pink Pony Club hits something deep inside of me, maybe inside of you, because it points this vivid picture, or it paints a vivid picture of a place where you can finally break free. No more choking under other people's expectations. No more living for their approval. No more hiding who you are. It's a space where you can say, "This is me," without fear of being shamed or shut out. I hear that chorus and I think, yes, I want that. A place where the lights are warm, the music is alive, and the whole room is filled with people just being who they are. No pretending, no pressure to fit in, just the freedom to exist as yourself. The Pink Pony Club sounds like the perfect place for me. But then I remember, but wait, the church can't be that. Church is supposed to call sin what it is. It's supposed to preach godliness, holiness, and repentance. It can't be a no-boundary space in the same way a club can. There's a message to proclaim and truth to uphold. But again, I think church, in many cases, is already a Pink Pony Club. Different costumes, people dress up, not in heels, not in glitter, but in modest outfits, polite smiles. They learn to dance the steps of church life, the right lingo, the right demeanor, the right way to look like you've got it all together. And if you hit the moves right, you're embraced. And if you don't, you feel the cold edge of disapproval. The club, you can cover your pain with freedom and flash. At the church, you can cover your sin with righteousness and respectability, but never confront it. And I think that's what the church was never supposed to be. The church should be the one place on earth where you can finally stop pretending, where you can drop every act, every performance, every curated image, and bring your real, messy, sinful self into the light of God's grace. Not to celebrate it, but to stop hiding from the only one who can deal with it. The Pink Pony Club. It's a vision of a place where you can be fully known and fully embraced. Is the church supposed to be that kind of place, but only better? It's not supposed to be built on self-expression, but on the scandalous, freeing love of God. Maybe until the church stops rewarding performance and starts embracing reality, people will keep looking for their own Pink Pony Club. And sometimes when I hear the song, I can't blame them. Maybe, just maybe, the reason, well, it's not a maybe. I want the Pink Pony Club because I'm a sinner. Wants, needs, and desires. I just want to be free. Have what I want. Experience what I need. Forget everything else. Burn everything else to the ground. Now, I know the church can't be that. But man, the church could be a place saying, hey, it's not a free-for-all. But man, we could be more real and more honest. How do you feel about the song? I'm greatly conflicted. I had to shorten that dramatically. I cut out like 3 segments. I had far more things to say, but I think I tried to capture some of my conflicted emotions. But I know here in a minute, I'm going to put the headphones on and I'm going to listen to Pink Pony Club. And I'm going to feel those chills because in so many ways I relate to it. And maybe I relate to it because of the club experience that I had that was so transformative to my life. In some ways, I don't even think I'd be alive today without it. And I know you say, that's ridiculous. You just don't understand what it meant to me to walk in there and all of a sudden I became everything that was inside of me I could be, and I was celebrated for it. I was approved of. I was liked. I was desired. I was wanted. I mean, how can you, give me a break. Okay. Maybe it captures that feeling, but it's always my whole life. I've never, school and peer pressure and expectations. I'm always like, no, sorry, not playing any of your games, not going along with anybody. I'm going to do the complete opposite. I am not following along. And I wanted to escape to my own Pink Pony Club where I could just be me. And in Christianity, here's your script. Here's your template. Here's what. Get that out of my face. No. Now, I know sometimes it sounds like full-blown rebellion, and I'm willing to admit that. But man, I don't want the pretend. So that's why I try not to pretend here. I tell you what I am. I'm a sinner with a microphone. That's all I am. It's all I ever will be. And if you think I'm anything else, you're out of your ever-living mind. I'm a broken, sinful mess. So maybe when you listen to this podcast, it's our own little pink pony club. We all show up just to admit what we are. Broken, messy, ridiculous people trying to just figure out life. Maybe that's what church was supposed to be. I don't know. All right. Thanks for listening. That's another episode in our Song of the Summer 2025. Pink Pony Club. It's been on the charts for 59 weeks. If your children, if you know people who like it, I don't know if they see all the deeper meanings behind it. There's a high probability they like it and they have nothing to do with LGBTQ+. They don't even recognize or see that in the song. There's something they're drawn to, and I think it's this idea of being free, breaking free. School's about to start in many places, and they're going to walk back into conform or be cast out. And Pink Pony Club gives them like, I just want to be free of all of this. And I'm like, I understand. All right. Thanks for listening. Everyone have a great day. God bless.